Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about how to think about food in order to lose weight. You've got to change the way you think about food if you're going to lose weight. You can't keep thinking about food the same way and lose weight. It's not going to work. It's not going to work for long anyways. So you have to go to the core of how you think about food and make this part right from the beginning of your weight loss approach, part of your main part of your strategy. You can't just think about food the same way and then just eat less of it, because it's the way you think about food that's creating most of the cravings, the desire, and ultimately the behaviors around food. So we need to take a step back and start asking the question, how do I want to think about the food? Now, I know that it's going to take a little while to go from where I want to think about the food to actually thinking about it that way, but this is the first step, because a lot of people are going into weight loss thinking, oh my God, I love the ice cream. Oh, I love cookies. I love all this stuff. Well, if you love all that and you have all of this wonderful positive feelings about it, forget it. Like you're not going to be able to say no to that forever. And that's what you've been trying to do. You absolutely love the foods, but you're going to stop yourself from eating them. And that lasts a little while. So the secret to changing your weight long-term is to change the way you think about these foods. And we start to ask the question, how do I want to think about ice cream? Well, I want to think that I enjoy eating it, but I also understand that it's causing me a lot of pain in my life. I want to enjoy cookies. They taste good when I eat them, but then when I'm done with them, they cause all this pain in my life. Physically, I feel like shit. Mentally, I don't feel good about myself. Emotionally, I'm feeling depressed and discouraged and frustrated. So the ice cream, in reality, while it feels like it's really enjoyable, right behind that facade is a whole bunch of pain. And I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to live the life of being addicted to these foods that lowers the quality of my life, makes me feel worse as I'm living. And so this is the beginning point of changing the way you think about these foods. Now, we've done it, whether you were a cigarette smoker or not. You watched this happen with cigarettes, where people pretty much thought about cigarettes, they didn't think they were healthy, but they thought of them as, it's not that bad. But now all of a sudden we understand just how bad cigarettes are for us. And this has happened in a number of areas. And I know in your own life, you thought one way about something and then you learn new information. Now you think of it differently. And because you think of it differently, you now act different. And the same thing can happen for food, because most of the foods that you're struggling with are not very good for you. They are just as bad for you in a lot of ways as the cigarettes are for people. So it doesn't take a lot of bullshitting yourself to change the way you're thinking about food. It just takes a little bit of awareness. Pay attention to what you're eating. Learn about what it does to your body, and it will start the process of changing the way you think about the food. Because once you do ultimately see the food accurately and you start to think about it differently, it's going to set you up for much better success with your weight than you probably ever achieved. So give this some thought and make this a core part of your weight loss strategy. And I think you'll be very happy that you did. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Because, here we are on a Monday. And I'm a little late, but it's because I got shiny new teeth. So I always hate getting my teeth done. But Lisa said, I thought you were on vacation. No, vacation is next week. So, I'll be here all week. And, I guess I was a little bit of vacation mode last week. Had a half a vacation. But I still show up for the lives. What's up, Jody? Oh, yeah. Fix that daily hip. I knew. I don't know how that didn't happen. I changed that. I just forgot to save it. So there we are. But I'm glad that's fixed. So I hate making mistakes like that. So obviously Vicky's here. Nice. Baja, thanks, Jim. This makes so much sense. Yep, it does make a lot of sense, right? Again, a lot of people, they just assume the way they think about food has to be that way forever. It does not. You can change the way you think about anything, because everything is good and bad. And it's really just a matter of how we think about things consistently. And we've been conditioned to think about food as food addicts, as people that have no control over. We're just at the mercy of all the food advertising we've been exposed to in our lives. But bullshit. You can take control of how you think about food. It's a process. It takes time. It takes reinforcement, but you can absolutely do it. And I think it's the foundation that changes everything, So I agree, Baj. It does make a lot of sense. What's up, Heather? That consequence phase lasting 24 hours is so not worth the 10 seconds of pleasure. This is the best. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we do in Program Yourself. Then we break things down in order to think about things differently. One of the core ways we do that is to think about eating phases. There's kind of 3 phases of eating: anticipation, consumption, consequence. And the entire food industry, the entire culture has gotten you fixated on the anticipation and consumption of food your entire life. I mean, we have seen, all of us have been exposed to millions and millions of food ads in our lives. Every single food ad is about the food coming towards you or getting it or opening it and the first bite or two. You never see the last bite, the empty plate, the person sitting on the sofa feeling like shit. You never see that. And yet that's the phase that lasts the longest, is the consequence phase. It's the most impactful phase in our lives. So we've got to intentionally focus on that phase if you truly do want to master your weight, I believe. So yeah, consequent phase is what it's all about, for real. What's up, Carrie? How's it going? Food, yes. I like that. See, Vicky said, how to change my relationship with food, still a work in progress. Yeah, it's always a work in progress because we don't live in a vacuum. You know what I mean? It's like imagine someone was like, I don't know, like a hardcore cocaine addict. But then imagine cocaine, not only is it completely legal, but there's ads for it everywhere. You can get it everywhere. They're constantly trying new versions of cocaine. Like, that's the world we live in. It's like this addictive substance, but it's also legal. And we just lose perspective on it, you know? So yeah, it's a constant battle. What's up, Julie? Julie says, watch Netflix documentary, You Are What You Eat. I can't eat beef again. Yes, I've been hearing a lot of people mentioning that documentary to me. And yeah, documentaries are great. I find one of the most powerful forms of programming that exists is watching documentaries, is reading books, listening to podcasts, learning new information, because we live in a world of bullshit, because all we do is we get constantly influenced by food production, food producers, ads and commercials, and the supermarket. I mean, it's one big hall of bullshit when it comes to the food, and we can't even see straight. And so when you get documentaries, I haven't seen You Are What You Eat yet, but I've seen so many documentaries that I got a good sense of where it's going to be, and I will watch it, and I'll talk about it when I do. But yeah, you know, this is that actually, here's a perfect example too, because I started off this call talking about changing the way you think about food, right? And I think, because again, people with weight loss rarely think about mindset aspects to it, right? It's very diet oriented, where it's like, I don't need to change how I think about food. I just need to get myself to stop eating the food, Jim. They always tell me that. And it's like, well, yeah, but you don't have any clue what you're fucking talking about. But anyways, so, you know, people, the meat's the same thing. And I'm vegetarian. Oh, here we go. Oh, well, already restricted. What could I have been talking about though? 2 restrictions. All right. What was I talking about? Oh, I guess I was talking about cocaine. I gotta stop doing that. There's no way it could do this because I talk about meat. Although, who knows? Never know. But anyways, so I am a vegetarian here, but this is not a vegetarian podcast, so I don't really go into that side of things. But I do think it's the rare person, honestly, who would genuinely look and see where their food came from, who wouldn't start to consume less of meat. I think I feel pretty confident in that. I was a huge meat eater, and I think as you start to look at where your meat comes from and what it actually is compared to what you thought it was, I can almost guarantee you would consume less of it. But that's not what this conversation's about. But I find that's true a lot of times. Let's see. This is true then. Thank you, Diana. Diana says, how can I stop the sugar cravings? Well, let's go kind of, there's a lot of ways to stop sugar cravings, but I think it all starts with changing how you think about sugar. You know, again, I think everything for me starts with mindset, right? I'm a hypnotist, I'm an NLP person. So everything's mindset to me. So I think that, hold on a second. Oh yeah. Yep. I was just looking at my bans, my restrictions. It's because I'm talking about drugs. Well, I'm not talking about drugs anymore. I'm not going to make that comparison anymore. What are we talking about? Oh, sugar though. Speaking of drugs. So yeah, sugar, if you want to stop consuming as much sugar as you've been consuming, I mean, the first step is to think about it differently. Because right now, if you're like the average person in America, you just think about sugar on a subconscious level as like fun. It's enjoyable. It's like childlike. It reminds me of being a kid. It's what makes life worth living. It's youthful. It's all this wonderful stuff. And so if you're going to maintain the same associations and thoughts about sugar and then expect you're just going to consume less of it, good luck. Good luck, because the way you think about it is generating your desire for it. Okay. So if I'm going to go aim at sugar, if sugar is a big issue for me and my weight, I'm going to change how I think about sugar. And I'm going to do that by learning more about sugar, specifically like what does sugar do to my body? When I consume sugar, what's going on in my body? And I think that's a nice place to start, because unless you've done this yourself, you have no real sense of what sugar's doing to you. You just have a vague sense that it's bad and a very refined, in-depth, granular sense of how amazing it is. And so as long as that's the way you're thinking about it, it's always going to be a struggle to stop it. And this is what most people experience. They absolutely love sugar. And you don't love sugar, by the way. You do love sugar, but you don't just eat sugar. So when people talk about like, oh, how can I stop the sugar cravings? It is the sugar cravings. I get it. But they show up as your desired form of sugar. Okay. So it shows up as, how do I stop my cookie cravings, my ice cream cravings, my sweets cravings, my desserts cravings, my candy cravings? Be specific. Okay. But again, as a first step, start to study sugar and see what it actually does in your body. Learn about it, because sugar is very unhealthy for you. And I eat sugar. So again, I'm not a purist who says never eat sugar, but I think you want to moderate it. I approach sugar like I do alcohol, and alcohol is not good for you really in any amount, but I still drink it because I like it. And so I'm moderate with it, but I still have it here and there. And that's the decision I've made. And I made the same decision with sugar. But again, behind both of those decisions is understanding what alcohol does to me, understanding what sugar does to me. And I feel like a little bit occasionally I'm okay with. Regularly having sugar in my diet, I'm absolutely not okay with, because I really value myself and who I want to be as a person. And all the goals I have in my life, I think would take a direct hit if I started consuming sugar all the time, because I think of sugar being so damaging to me as a whole. But again, I have a different mindset. So it's not just the strategy. I can't just tell you how to cut sugar down, because it all comes down to how we think about it. So yeah. Julie says there's tons of fruit and vegetables I love, and I'm starting to eat them again regularly. Yeah, that's wonderful. I know. Tell me about it. I'm part of this farm share thing, and this is the most vegetables and fruits and stuff I've eaten ever, and it's amazing. My kids are like, it's really like a superfood. You know what I mean? Like it's because we're eating so much of this stuff, so fresh too. It's like freshly picked. It's been awesome. That's one of the best things you can do, is really start exploring fruits, vegetables. Really, there's a whole world out there. We live in the Garden of Eden. Think about it, right? You can get the most amazing fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, everything all year round. It's an amazing thing to dive into, because there's a lot more than you think. You have a superficial understanding of fruits and vegetables, most likely. And so diving in deep to that is actually pretty interesting. So I'm right there with you, Julie. What's up, Ronnie? Ronnie says, I've been optimizing my plant-based lifestyle for 7 months now. Relaxation and mindset have been a crucial part. So I've noticed a lot of weight melt off of me. Yeah, that's great. And again, that's how it works. If we approach weight mastery in multiple ways, from multiple angles, you can get much better and faster results. And building around a plant-based diet as well is super, super smart. How can I tell if a practice is sustainable or not for me? Well, that's surprisingly easy. I mean, are you keeping it up? Are you doing it? Do you want to do it? Is it a struggle for you to do it and keep it up? You know what I mean? So that's an easy question. Just bounce it against yourself and your experience with it. And if listen, for me to even do my lifestyle, it's mostly automated. I've been doing it for a while, so I kind of just do what I do. But at the same time, I'm still managing it. You always got to manage what you're doing, but there's a fine line. You got to decide what that is. There's a fine line between you kind of managing things and keeping things on track, going the way you want them to go, and you like kind of white knuckling it the whole time. And it's like, oh my God, I don't know how long I can keep this up. When you feel that way, forget it. Your plan sucks. And that's all you dieters. You dieters are all doing that. You're all white knuckling it every day. And it's just a matter of time till you quit. So it's up to you, Ron. You got to you have to decide that for yourself. But if it's sustainable, again, it's bouncing it off of, how does this feel for me? If it's relatively easy, then it's sustainable. If it's relatively hard, very hard, then it's not sustainable. Kind of a simple explanation, I would say. And how can I deal with others telling me that I look too skinny? I honestly feel a lot more balanced, but I hate those comments. Yeah, I hear you, Ronnie. That shit annoyed me so much. And people will say that, and I don't know. Maybe they genuinely mean it. Maybe sometimes they're just being ball busters. I don't know. But how do you deal with it? It's the same thing. Anytime you're around anyone who is actively sabotaging you, not intentionally sabotaging you, triggering you, irritating you, feel like you're thrown off the track when you're around them. Anytime you're around these people, I always go back to the same initial solution, which is double down on your motivation. Okay. Where do you want to be? How do you want to feel? How do you want to look? What do you want to weigh? What do you want to do and why? And get crystal clear on that. And then when people say their stuff, you rely on that, So yeah, we got to deal with that sometimes. And I don't know, is it true? I don't know. You have to decide that for yourself. Are you too skinny? Because people will say that, but you got to understand reality is relative. And so if you live in a culture where, 72% of the population is overweight or obese, then when you're at a healthy weight, you're going to seem too skinny. You're an outlier. You're unusual. And so to people that are overweight or obese, being at a normal weight almost seems too skinny. And especially if you were overweight or heavier and then you've dropped the weight, there's that piece of it, the relativity piece. And then there's just you're not exactly part of the tribe anymore. When you stop eating all the bullshit and you stop becoming so food centric, to some degree, you're stepping on the tribe a little, and that's weird. And the tribe will seek to pull you back in. So again, it's such a, that whole piece of the weight loss puzzle there is, I think, so common and so rarely discussed. But I think, yeah, figuring out how you're going to, what weight do you want to be? How do you feel? That's where I go. That's my safe place, right? When people trigger me or when someone says some dumb shit, and I've heard that exact phrase, I heard that, and ironically, a lot of times I would hear that, oh, you get so thin. Are you okay? I'd hear that from people that were overweight / obese. And that's how crazy it is sometimes that, you know what I mean? But anyways, so yeah, you just gotta kind of handle that one on your own a little bit, but use some of the things I mentioned to help you do that. What's up, Nura? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Life really can't change on a dime. I'm suddenly facing grief and lots of other negative emotions since last week. I'm sorry, Nura. That sucks. At least this is going to be endurance obstacle course. I could use some hopeful, helpful words from you. Experience with healthy coping strategies, hypnosis sessions you would pay special attention to, most helpful lifestyle habits. Yeah, Nura. And again, I'm sorry. And this is real though. This is real life. Like I always try to say to my dieter friends here, like you can't diet forever, because life's not going to let you do that. Life is not just some constant, you're not just always set up for success with life. There's a lot of bullshit that comes your way. And some of the hardest of it is grief. You might lose someone you love or something you love. And now you've seen all this pain you're in. Now it's going to be harder to stick to your diet. Okay. So program yourself. Then we are prepared for these types of things. So Nura, the first thing that I would direct you towards is if you go to the Mindset Mastery Workshop in the bonus section and you go to the maintenance part, I'd watch that. And I'd specifically go to the part that says dealing with times of stress. I think it's one of the most important lessons in the entire program. So I'd strongly recommend watching that, because at this point, watch this, dieters. You're not going to believe what I'm about to say. But when you get to a point in your life where you're dealing with grief and loss, at that moment in time, your weight probably should not be the number one thing on your mind. The number one thing on your mind should probably be being present and dealing with that grief and loss. Now, at the same time, we don't go crazy with the food, because if we went crazy with the food, that wouldn't help us deal with the first thing. It wouldn't help us deal with the loss and the grief. It would just be a way to escape and numb ourselves. So if we make our focus, this thing happened, I'm really upset, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm grieving, whatever emotions come up from it, whatever the experience is, it's about kind of getting through that to a better place. But I think you get through that quicker and more healthfully and genuinely when you experience those things. And so here and now, the lifestyle habit you asked about, you get extra sleep, okay, because you're tired. Your brain's working on overdrive, processing what's gone on. So extra sleep helps you process it better and have more energy to do it. Water, right? So I definitely focus on making sure I'm maintaining my hydration. Relaxation, I think super important because sometimes we can get really tense, and so we want to relax and let things go and realize, again, I mean, I don't know. I hesitate to give you the phrases to say to get through this because I don't know your philosophical background of how you make sense of the world. Meaning, fancy way to say, are you religious? Are you, and I'm assuming a lot of stuff from what you wrote, by the way. I'm assuming there was a loss. So I'm kind of assuming some things, but hopefully these will kind of fit in there. But regardless of whatever your kind of philosophy of the world is, you start making some peace with the situation as best you can. But I think the best way you make peace with difficult situations is to be rested, to be more calm and centered, to breathe, to nourish yourself with some high quality foods, to go for some walks and move around, let your body move. Meditate if you've been meditating. I wouldn't start meditating now if you haven't been, but if you've been meditating, maybe you can lean on that. Gratitude, I think, is probably one of the most helpful lifestyle habits, all of them, to deal with this. Because when we lose someone or we feel grief, we get fixated on the loss piece of it. But sometimes when we lose someone, we don't focus on the gratitude piece that we got to know this person, if this is the situation. And so sometimes that can help as well. So all of the lifestyle habits, plus the mindset shift, I think, of what I've seen do best. And I've worked with so many people. Obviously, when you work with a lot of people over time, you're going to go through times of life when there's, dealing with loss and sadness and grief and difficult situations. And so I've helped a lot of people work through these. I've worked with myself through these, but this is where I would start, is with all the things I just mentioned, really double down on those. Yeah. Joy says, hello, Joy. Let's see here. What's up, E? He says, discovering the difference between what the truth is and how the truth feels in my body. I love that. Yeah, that's a good one. And I think that it's interesting. Yeah, the truth. I always say, weight loss isn't that hard because you've got the truth on your side. You've got the truth on your side. And what's the truth? The truth is that eating a lot of unhealthy food feels like shit, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Eating healthy, nourishing foods and living healthy lifestyle feels great, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And that truth is always there. It never goes away. And so the more you can fixate on that truth, I think the easier time you have making food choices that allow you to take more control over your weight. So I get that, Ian. I think that's a great realization. Verona says, how to feed mental hunger. That's an interesting question because my first question is, what's mental hunger? How do you feed mental hunger? Well, what is mental hunger? Is it when you're thinking about your favorite dessert and you're starting to crave it? And how do I deal with that? Is that what you mean? Is it a mental hunger for knowledge? So I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm going to assume it's like the mental, the old food noise, right? That the medicine's so great at helping with, the food noise in our head. How do we deal with that? And I think if that's what we're talking about, I think that's everything that I do is aimed at dealing with the food noise. And I appreciate them talking about how the medicine takes the food noise away, but there's other ways to do it too. And so I'm not so concerned with taking the food noise away as I am making the food noise much more accurate. So fuck it. Let me think about food all day. Let me think about shitty food all day. You know what changed it for me is I started to understand what shitty food really did to me, what it was, how it affected me physically, mentally, emotionally. So I didn't run away from the food noise. I reprogrammed it so that I started doing and thinking and feeling and the things that I wanted to. And I started living a lifestyle that supported all those thoughts. So yeah, I probably need a little more detail of what food noise you mean specifically, but I love talking about food noise. What's up, Jim? Is it normal to be constantly gaining weight like every month, Jim? I mean, if you're eating more and more calories than it's normal, you know what I mean? Oh, Jim said you said people usually stay around the same, but I'm gaining. Well, yeah, because you're eating more food. I don't know why you're eating more food. I don't know what's going on with you. But it's completely normal to gain weight when you eat more calories. What I said is the average person, most people stay at a similar weight. I mean, it may go up a couple pounds a year, year after year. Okay. But the average person, their weight stays somewhere in the ballpark of where it stays. It doesn't go up 5-10 pounds a month every month. That's an outlier thing. Not that it can happen. It does, but it's an unusual thing for the average person. So that's what I was referring to, is that most people seem to have a subconscious set point, right? Now, most people think that as a physical thing. I think of it as a mental thing. And I think most people have a physical set point and a similar weight that they pretty much stay at, because most people's eating behaviors are kind of set on autopilot, and they just keep repeating them. So I would say, Jim, I don't know. And this is why, what I will say to you, Jim, what I say to everyone is you got to get more specific, because people talk in vagaries and it screws them up. So it's like, if Jim's like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Is it normal for me to constantly gain weight like every month? Well, what's that mean? Have you been gaining weight every month for the last 12 months? Have you put 60 pounds on? Like, have you put like 5 pounds a week on? I mean, 5 pounds a month on for the last month? I mean, what the hell am I saying? Have you put 5 pounds a month on for the last year? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, is it normal constantly gaining weight like every month? Well, I want to know how many months. I want to know how much weight. Then I want to know what's going on with you. Why are you eating more? Something happened? Are you stressed? These are the things I want to know. And so the way people live in their problems, and they make their problems kind of vague and overwhelming. And so the first step out of that to get to solutions is to ask more specific, refined questions. And as you start to ask more specific, refined questions, you'll see the solution just starts to appear. I don't want to say it's the complete solution you want necessarily, but it'll certainly pull you out of this vagary of saying, I don't know, it's been months now, and I just keep gaining more and more weight. I'm keep more and more weight constantly every month, month after month after month. I'm putting more and more weight on. And I said, well, how many months has it been? I said, well, 2 months. Well, that's a whole different story. You know what I mean? So again, dieters always do this, where the way you think about things, you think catastrophically, and you kind of overwhelm yourself, and it puts you into a state where you can't think of any solutions. So yeah, get a little more specific. Mario says, I just binged, Jim. It's been a while since I've done this, and it feels awful. I feel so confused. I hate that I let myself do it. I now feel physically ill. I wouldn't hate that you let yourself do it. I don't understand that. I really don't. I don't understand you, Mario. I mean, you listen here every day. Why would you hate that you let yourself do it? You just do it sometimes. All of us sometimes. I did it this weekend. It's like it happens. It's always going to happen sometimes. There's no need to hate yourself for doing it. You just utilize it and remember that it feels like shit. I don't like this. This isn't what I want to do. This isn't what I want to feel or how I want to eat. And then you learn from it. You grow from it. And Mario, again, here's Mario, right? If I'm not mistaken, Mario, you said you're at your goal weight, but I know you're terrified now. So I know the binge has extra importance now because, oh my God, I'm at my goal weight. I just binge and put all the weight back on, calm down. Calm down. Being more calm is probably one of the most valuable things you can do when it comes to your weight, because you all freak out, freak out. Okay. It's no big deal that you binged. It's not the binge. It's what you do afterwards. Random binges are never going to make you overweight. It's binges that happen. And then we binge down. It's been 2 weeks of binging. You know what I mean? So again, relax with it. Understand it, go back in time and understand it. But then, it's not that big a deal. What's up, Jonathan? Jonathan says, oh my God, this is literally my current situation. I'm losing weight quite fast and people are hating it. Yeah. My parents are being horrible about it, saying I'm starting to look sick, but really they're just mad I'm not eating their food. But they cook junk usually. It's hard. I get it, Jonathan. That's what I'm saying. Again, the weight loss thing is much less about what to do. And a lot of times it's the soft skills of losing weight. It's the soft skills of dealing with the people in your lives, the people you're closest to, the people you may possibly live with, parents, friends, family. they don't support it usually, because all of a sudden it's a different thing. All of a sudden you're not acting like the tribe. And this shit is so fast. I've studied this. There's a thing called theory of the mind. I find this stuff absolutely fascinating, because literally, as a human being, part of what makes us humans is we do have this group connection with people. Being part of the group is extremely important, and it's embedded in us. It's not just learned. I mean, this is something that's hardwired into us. And so all of a sudden, when we don't eat like the people around us, it's a very weird situation. It feels weirder and worse than it should. That it feels weirder than it should. Like, logically, you think it's, oh, who gives a shit? But emotionally, you're just like, oh, you're like a wreck, you know? So I get it, Jonathan. And so again, what we do is we take this little idea in the back, we pull it out in front and say, okay, my parents, they're not really happy with it. They're saying I'm looking sick, you know? And so again, I don't know where you are with your weight, but you want to lose 40 pounds. How can you be looking sick if you've lost, what, 10 pounds so far? Even that's, how much more could you have lost than that in the time frame I know you're working with? But I think it's important to remember that. Okay. Remember that, you know, maybe you want to lose 40 pounds. And when you lost the first 10, your parents are saying, oh, you look sick. There's no way you can look sick losing 10 pounds of 40, in my experience. And so I would store that away in the back of my mind. So these guys, they're bullshitters. They're not being legitimately, they're not commenting on something genuinely. They're mad that I'm not eating their food, or they're frustrated for whatever reasons. This happens. Parents, especially, because what you're doing on some subconscious level is you're rejecting them. You're rejecting their way of life. You're rejecting how they raised you. You're rejecting their food. And it just is. And I know you're not, and I know you don't mean it, and it doesn't make sense logically, but I promise you this is going on, and you got to address it on some level, because it'll sabotage. This sabotages more people. This is right at the top of the list of things that sabotage people. You know, so I get Jonathan. And so again, I give the same thing to you, is that when you get in this situation where, and you can feel, I know you feel a little wobblier when people say negative stuff. I thought the same shit. Listen, when I started on 50 pounds heavier than I am now, and I started losing weight, my dad died of a heart attack at 54. So you would think like, holy shit, Jim, you're getting healthier. This is great. This is awesome. I started getting healthier, and there was not that message. It was, oh my God, what are you getting sick? What are you doing? Are you crazy? You're a health nut now. You're fucking nut job. You're not normal. All this negative stuff. And so it did bother me at the time, no doubt about it. But where I got to, and what I wish I knew then, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I want to be this weight. I don't give a shit what you guys eat. I'm not eating that way anymore. Deal with it. Tough shit. And that's how I feel. But I always go back to that safe space inside of me that says, I love being this weight. I love eating this way. I love where I'm at. And so that love and desire and motivation and want to be this person, to be this weight, size, health person, me, I keep going back. That's my safe space. Okay. And so, oh, Jimmy, you look too sick. The best one. Oh, you look like you got AIDS. That's a nice one to hear. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, so again, I'm not, that's a real story, you know. I mean, at that point though, like I heard that one well into my journey. I laughed at that one, you know. It's just, it's outlandishly, it's ridiculous, you know. Maybe I do, I don't know. But again, I don't give a shit. And I really, that's one of my favorite mantras. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Great. You do you. Don't care. Again, that's why I focus on me and not others. But I get Jonathan, and I'm glad. I'm glad. Good. I'm proud of you for making changes in your behaviors. Good for you. And I'm really happy that you're aware of that, and that you can bring it up and we can talk about it. And I hope this puts your mind at ease a bit, you know, because again, it's something most people are going to have to go through when they start losing weight. And it sounds weird, but it's very common. E-Picket says, you often mention that people are always hungry because they eat low nutrient foods. So how do we adjust that if we never get hungry? Meaning I'm not hungry, but I eat anyway. Oh, well, listen. I mean, even when you eat a lot of nutrients, you still get hungry. You know, it's a different hunger, I would say. So you're always going to get hungry. You know, and Program Yourself Thin, we manage our hunger. We make peace with it. We learn to master our hunger, you know? So I get hungry. Of course I get hungry. But what the difference is I know I can eat my breakfast, and I know that's going to keep me satisfied hunger wise until my lunch. And then I know I'm going to eat my lunch, and I know that lunch is going to satisfy me well into dinner. And then I won't be, even when I go into dinner, I'm not starving. I'm a bit hungry. And in that place, I don't eat as much, and I make better food choices. And so that's how it is 5 days a week. And then I got my pleasure days. It's the same thing. I know I'm going to eat for breakfast. I know that's going to satisfy me until I get to dinner. and then I'm gonna eat dinner, and that's gonna satisfy. I don't get the next breakfast. So, yeah. Yeah, you could eat. I mean, I eat tons and tons of vegetables. I still get hungry, so you'll still get hungry, but it's a different type of hunger. It's very interesting. There's different types of hunger. There's genuine, real hunger, and there's hunger like I call it the endless hunger. It's that Western thing where it's just like you can never eat enough to feel fully satisfied. You know what I mean? Like you can eat a pizza and then you're hungry an hour later. That's how it used to be for me, and that's how it is for a lot of people eat processed foods. Because again, processed foods literally it's designed in labs by chemists to make you hungry all the time. Literally. I mean, this is a fucking surprise. They've taken the satiety out of the food, and the weight loss medicines give you the satiety back. So they took the satiety out of the food to sell as much food to you as possible and made you overweight and obese in the process. And now they're going to sell you the satiety back so you can lose the weight. It's a crazy world out there. Jim's saying Jonathan's making me want to just diet and do it the fast way. Go ahead, Jim. Do it the fast way. I'm never against anyone doing it the fast way. I said, good. I'll be here though when you do the fast way and you lose the weight, and then you put the weight back on. I'll be here, and then you'll be in a better mindset to say, you know what, Jim? I did it the fast way again. I lost the weight, and I couldn't keep it up. Now I get what you're saying. You know what? But so lose all the weight now. I'm not here to convince anyone of that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm here to, and again, to be honest, first of all, most guys never get this message. I don't think guys are thicker than women in the head, but it does seem that way a little bit. And you guys are, I know the guys here are all younger. And so you get more motivation and focus and energy. Knock yourselves out with a diet. Like that's what I say. You know what I mean? Like, cause you're most likely not in the mental, emotional, physical space to really even hear what I'm saying. Like, honestly, like who I'm really talking to, I'm talking to primarily women, usually in their 50s, maybe in their 40s, maybe in their 60s, 70s. I get most of my clients are in their 50s, 60s. Okay. And I think the reason to that is because at that point, you have now got a 30, 40 year, 20-year history of trying to lose weight with diets. You've tried a million diets. You've tried 1,000 times to lose weight, and it hasn't worked long term. And so you're just apathetic, and you're just so upset that you can't figure this part of your life out. And that's who I'm talking to. I'm really not talking to a 25-year-old guy who can just basically is so fired up and you just built different at this point. That's what I think. That's my experience. It's very rare that I get guys in the program that are young. I don't get a lot of guys in the program, so I've worked with a lot of guys. I mean, there's no question about it, but the majority of my clients are women, so anyways, to you, Jim, I say, knock yourself out, do the fast diet. Cause again, it's not me. Like, I want to make clear, I'm not convincing my clients that end up working with me. I'm not here. I don't need to convince you that dieting doesn't work. So I'm saying, like, if you feel like you need me to convince you that dieting doesn't work, then you would not be a good client. I mean, my clients are people like, yeah, dieting doesn't work. And they love hearing all the reasons why. They're like, holy shit, thank you, Jimmy, put my mind at ease. I thought there was something wrong with me. So it really does put my mind at ease to realize that dieting is a shit ass strategy. No wonder it doesn't work. But yeah, certainly I'm not here to convince you that dieting doesn't work if you think it does. Because again, for you all, it might work. It's working for Jonathan right now. At least in the moment, but he's got kind of a unique situation. We'll see where it goes. Mario says, how do I help my body digest food easier after eating too much? Does water help? I believe water helps. And whether that's real or psychosomatic, I don't care. Going to water is probably my number one strategy I rely on after overeating or kind of making an unhealthy choice. I will go to water almost. That's my number one. Number two for me is walking. I like going for walks or moving, just to kind of move that process along. And then three, sometimes is just take a nap or go to sleep. Let myself recover, then I'll come back in the game. So those are the three that I like to use. Jim says, my metabolism has to be broken. It's been almost 2 years. Well, is that responding 2 years of consistent weight gain month after month? How much weight gain a month are you averaging? Guy says, I was pretty good with weight loss, but now have been binge eating for a couple weeks. Don't know why. Well, I mean, when you say, I always read into things. I like to read into things. That's what I do. And so when I see I was pretty good with weight loss, that makes me think that you were probably doing some kind of diet. You were probably pretty good with weight loss. What do I think that approach was? Let me take a guess. I was pretty good with weight loss. Intermittent fasting and counting calories. Is that what you were doing? I like to try and guess the strategy a person would do. So pretty good with weight loss, I would bet, is some diet that it took a lot of focus and energy to get yourself to do it. And don't know why I've been binge eating for a couple of weeks. But the most common pattern for a dieter is that they follow some diet for a week, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be Weight Watchers, counting points, counting calories, calorie in, calorie out, intermittent fasting, Mediterranean diet, keto, paleo. It doesn't matter. Diet. I did a diet for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple months, and then I binge ate everything. I ate everything. And that's called the licensing effect, the what the hell effect. It's like you did something good for a little while and used up all your energy and excitement, and then you went right back to how you ate. But actually, you didn't go right back to how you ate. You kind of had this middle space where you ate extra, kind of made up for all the food you didn't eat for those couple of weeks. And that's probably what happened. And if you don't know why, it's because you kind of used up all your energy, motivation, and excitement in the first couple of weeks doing something extreme, and you had none left after that. You just burned through. Again, it's like you're running you're running a marathon, right? It's a marathon race, but you start off in a full-on sprint. And then you say, I don't understand. I started off the marathon so strong. I was in first place. And then I ran out of energy. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's the part of being a dieter that I'm just like, what? It's like, I don't get it, I get you keep doing it, but I don't understand how you just never catch on. It's like you're so surprised every time when you I don't know. It's dire dementia, but it's like you start off and you do great with the diet, and then you don't do well with it, and then it's like, I don't understand. Yet it happens exactly the same way every single time. But that's how it is. Sky Adventures, endless hunger because I eat crap. It's so nice to see you. I'm slowly getting back on board, all or something. I did so much better when I was in your group. Accountability is everything. All right. How's it going? Yeah, you're out in California. Sky Adventures. I like that. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Nice to see you. Yeah. Well, it is true. I mean, what do you want? When you obviously commit, you get in a group, you're going to do better. But yeah, all or something. Tired of dimensions. You like that. Well, that's good. Yeah. I'll give you, give me a shoot, Scott. I'm kind of, I'm out of, I'm going to be out of town next week, but the week after, shoot me a message, Scott. I'll give you a week of coaching. See how you're doing. Catch up with you. Julie says the smoking analogy is so accurate because I know too much about what smoking does to me to do it. When you feel the difference eating whole unprocessed food, you crave that feeling. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just sometimes this work. The hardest part of this work is knowing a secret, and you do everything you can to share it with as many people as possible, but people are just so entrenched in their way of thinking they can't even absorb the secret. It's just weird. It's weird. Mario said, I gained 6 pounds from that binge. I'm terrified. You're so right. Holy shit. It's quite a binge, Mario. But on the flip side, Mario, again, I had someone, that's not an unheard of thing, but I mean, I know 6 pounds sounds like a lot, but if you go right back to your normal eating, that 6 pounds are gonna come off in this week, so that's what I'm saying. And if you don't know that, Mario, it's time to fucking learn that. Okay. You can't keep dieters, and especially if they've lost the weight, you can't keep freaking out. You're going to fucking binge. Okay. You're going to binge. You're going to put 5 pounds on it a day. Oh my God. It's going to happen. But when it happens, be ready for it and say, oh, okay. Holy shit. What happened to me there? Jesus. I lost control there. Let's get back to normal. Back to normal. The 6 pounds are going to stay on. The 6 pounds, you ate more calories, your weight went up. You reduce your calories back to normal, your weight's going to go down. All right. And you got yourself, so Mario, I don't even know Mario. You're always sneaking up on me with the weight loss here. But if I'm not mistaken, what do you lose? Like 40 pounds, 30 pounds? Mario's lost 30, 40 pounds, something like that. So it's like, I don't know how you did it. I don't even know how you did it, Mario, because you don't really talk about it. You're a mystery. You're one of them, what do they call it? A riddle wrapped in an enigma. Because you say things like, if you listen to Mario, you'd think this guy has no control over anything. But then he pops in one day and he's like, oh yeah, I'm at my goal weight. Well, how'd you do that? But anyways, one of the things Mario does that's like a lot of dieters, very emotional, right? Like, oh my God, I'm never going to lose this weight. A week later, I'm at my goal weight. Okay, great. Congratulations. Oh my God, I binged. I blew everything. Okay. I put 5 pounds on. Okay. But what'd you do to lose all the weight before? It's always about that. And so we always are going to have times where we binge eat, make the wrong choice, get off track. It's about how strong is our foundation to get back on track. You know what I mean? Locked in. And so Mario, that's it for you. So don't make the goddamn binge your programming now. And that's what all you dieters do. You get so fixated on the binge. Oh my God, I binged. I blew it. I knew it. I knew it was going to last. Oh my God, I put 6 pounds in. Oh, this isn't going to last. All that work for nothing. Oh, why do I keep doing this? This is just the last 5 times I did this. I lost the weight and I put it back on. Here I go again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put all the weight back on. I can't control myself. I did another binge. Oh, you know what I mean? You right back into the weight back on. Calm the fuck down. How'd you lose the weight in the first place? How were you eating until the binge came up? Let's double down on that. What went on with the binge? Were you too hungry? Were you too emotional? Was it just a habit? What went on? Gain some understanding. Oh, I was too hungry. Oh, I'm not going to let that happen again. Oh, I got really emotional. What else could I do when I get emotional instead? It's a habit. What else can I do during this time? How can I work and get this habit out of here? Calm down. This goes to all of you. You can't think straight when you're all emotional. You're just very reactive and go, it's too much. What's up, Jerica? Feeling so good after coaching? No binges and following protocol. Good job, Jerica. Also listen to your podcast and repeat so many gems, mind shifts, reinforcing beliefs I want. Yes. But Jerica, like I said, that's the last time I mentioned it, but you are a very coachable person. And so, yes, I'm not surprised to hear that. So I'm happy to hear that too. Says, oh, yeah, I still need to lose a lot. There's simply no way. I look too skinny. It's dumb. I've gotten into serious arguments with my parents over it. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's a real thing, Jonathan. So my question to you is, this is one of your challenges, right? Everyone on their weight loss path is going to have strengths and challenges. Okay. And so we want to identify those. Okay. And so one of the challenges for Jonathan is his parents. He successfully lost some weight, certainly nothing in the ballpark of even looking sick or unhealthy, but his parents are making negative comments about it. Now you get your head wobbly. It's hard enough just to do this. And then you get someone wobbling you. It's harder. And so the question is, how do I want to feel about this? I know my parents are going to say this. So we look at it. See, it's natural to respond to that in an emotional way. I say, oh my God, what? Am I too skinny? Don't look bad. And you start getting all wobbly. Okay, but calm down, relax. What's going on here? All right, what's going on is I'm successfully losing some weight. This is great. My parents said I'm starting to lose weight too quick. That's bullshit. I'm not. And I don't look sick in any way. They're just saying bullshit. They're not right here. Good people can say dumb shit. Okay? These are good people saying dumb shit. When they say stuff about my weight and how I look, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to hear their voice as if they just sucked on a helium balloon. And I'm going to respond the same way. I'm going to laugh at it because it's goofy. When they talk about my weight, that goes into the goofy category. I'm not listening to them anymore. That's one way to handle it. You know what I mean? But again, there's a lot of ways specific to make that. But the point being that you can't, every time they say something, because they're probably going to say more dumb shit. So you can't, I was doing so good, Jim. And then my parents said that you look too skinny and then I have everything. No, that's a challenge. We're going to face it. How do you want to face it? Carrie says, what are symptoms of hunger? Symptoms of hunger? I don't know. That you're hungry? I don't know. You're tumbly rumbling? I don't know. What are symptoms of hunger? I mean, like, I don't know. That's like one of those things like you just kind of assume you know, and then we'd have to define it specifically. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. How do you know when you're really hungry? Like, what are symptoms of like endless hunger versus real hunger? I don't know. It's probably different for each person, but I can't answer that easily. So I don't know. Moses says, Jim, hi. What's up, Moses? How's it going? Moses, the land of the Olympics. Is everything Olympics over there now? That guy says, I went on to Ribelsis, which initially seemed to work well. Okay. Okay. You got me. You got me, Magi. I hope I'm saying that right. Magi. Not sure. All right. Magi got me. But in fairness, I didn't know you were going to. Magi said I was pretty good with weight loss. So I assumed it was a diet, but it was a weight loss medicine. So let's look into this. I went on to Ribelsis, which initially seemed to work well. Lost like 8 pounds. Now increased the dose and feel it doesn't help suppressing hunger anymore and have been like binging. That is interesting. I can't speak to that. I don't know enough about the medicines. I know generalized information about the medicines, and they're always learning new things because in reality, all those medicines were really designed for type 2 diabetics. And we're really in the trial phases practically of what it's like to give this medicine to people that don't have type 2 diabetes. They don't really know, there's been very few studies on that part of it. So I don't know. In Ribelsis, I don't know how that might be different than like Ozempic or Mounjaro. I know it's a pill. So yeah, I couldn't speak to that. I don't know. I have no idea what could be happening there then. Moses said, I feel horrible that my only reason for wanting to be skinny is to look better. I wouldn't argue about, I wouldn't argue about that. Guys are definitely dumber. That might be true. Moses, don't feel horrible. You know what I mean? Like I sit here and say, see, I would never feel horrible that my only reason for wanting to be skinny is to look better. If that reason was working. Okay. So if you're at your goal weight and the only reason you're at your goal weight is because you want to look the way you want to look, but it's working, get the fuck out of here. You did it. Congrats. Who cares? Now, if you are not at your goal weight and your only reason for wanting to look better is to only reason want to get thinner is to look better, well, then I wouldn't feel horrible. I would say this isn't enough. This isn't enough. It's like saying it's like you drive yourself to the shittiest store in town. You hate this store. And you say, oh my God, I feel terrible. I feel horrible. I drove to the worst store in town. I don't want to go in there. Like, that sounds weird. Like, why would you do that? You did that, So it's like, I wouldn't feel horrible. I would just say either that is working and it's motivating you to get the results you want, or it's not. And if it's not, I wouldn't feel horrible about it. I would just fix it. Hope that makes sense. It just says, yeah, just no direct diet directly. Just set up my macro goals and I've been hitting those. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, yeah, just intermittent fasting. What? IFYM. Intermittent fasting YM? Tell me it's intermittent fasting. At least I would have got 50% right. But I didn't know you're on the medicine. I'm pretty good at that. I'm like a diet psychic. Like, I can read people, give me a sentence about your weight loss, and I can predict how you did it. I'm kind of joking, but I'm right more often than I should be. I'm gotten pretty good at it. But anyways, yeah, it's hard. Like I said, Magic, I don't know. The medicines, I've worked with people on the medicines, but yeah, you're just in it too. Like, you're just kind of in the beginning of it all now. And they just upped your dose. So it's like, I just calm down. Let's just put it that way. Just settle down, see how it all kind of plays out. Maybe they'll dial the medicines in and fix it all up. So just have a little more patience, maybe. Jim said, yeah, I'm gaining for about 2 years now, ever since I started trying to lose weight. Ironic. It's actually not ironic. There is a psychological phenomenon called paradoxical intention that has a little bit to do with this. But the bigger part is that you're trying to lose weight as a dieter, and diets are set up to get you overweight. Diets fixate you on the exact foods that you have to stop eating, because all the big diets are run by the food companies. So yeah, you're screwed when you try and diet. Good luck. It's not going to work. So But Jim, how much have you put on in 2 years? How much weight have you put on in 2 years? And how much weight have you put on in the last, let's say, 3 months, let's say? I'm trying to get those specific numbers. Oh, there it is. You wrote it in right below. About 1 or 2 pounds a month. I'm so sad about it because I was only 8 pounds overweight when I started. And so now you are 35, 45 pounds heavier, Jim, than you were 2 years ago? Jonathan says, sorry, that sounds mean, but like I wish I was at my goal weight. I wouldn't be complaining. Fancy Nancy, one of my daughter's favorite books back in the day. What if you feel hopeless? Well, I think a lot of people feel hopeless. And that's why I do this every day, for the people that feel hopeless. Because I think the only reason you feel hopeless is because you got 3 strategies available to you. But really but for most people, it's one. It's dieting. And then maybe surgery, maybe the injections or medicines. But for most people get to a point where they feel hopeless with their weight. And it's because the only way they think about losing weight is dieting. And it doesn't matter what diet. It doesn't matter. Keto is no different than Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is no different than intermittent fasting as a diet. Intermittent fasting is no different than counting calories as a diet. They're all the same because it's you consciously trying to control your eating and how much you're going to weigh. You're not built to do that. And so it feels hopeless because you've tried to diet so many times and it hasn't worked. So why wouldn't you feel hopeless? But the hopeless feeling comes from the diets because you feel the only way I can lose weight is to diet. And I've dieted a million times. It hasn't worked. So yeah, hence I feel hopeless. It's not going to work. So the secret is to start using another way. Okay. And that's what I talk about every day. Stop with the fucking diets. Stop trying to lose weight and start mastering your weight. It ain't rocket science. You feel hopeless because you're given what? What's your fucking diet? What's your plan? I meant to ask this today. What's your plan, folks? Tell me how you're going to lose weight. How are you going to lose weight? How are you going to get to your goal weight and stay there? Tell me your strategy. For real. Write it down. Write it down in the comments. What are you going to do to lose the weight? I'll tell you why you feel hopeless. Every fucking answer, if anyone writes any answers in, you'll realize why you feel hopeless real fast. You know? Because every diet's one tactic. So you're trying to rely on one tactic to change all your weight. It's an illusion. It doesn't work. How are you going to lose weight? What are you going to do? Count your calories, intermittent fast, do keto, stop eating carbs, stop eating sugar, eat 800 calories a day, count your points, start going to Weight Watchers meetings, just eat Mediterranean food. What are you going to do? I'll see a whole list of 1 things. No? And it's not just 1 thing. You need a comprehensive, holistic strategy. So, I mean, that's why you feel hopeless, because you keep trying the same exact method over and over and over and over and over again. Just because you forget how your last diet ended doesn't mean that your subconscious does. So, Carrie says, I feel like I'm never hungry. I know when I'm full, but I eat because I've been told all my life I need to eat. Well, I don't believe that, Carrie. Because if that was if you're never hungry, you might never be hungry because you're always eating. So, I mean, one thing you can do, and this is a genuine thing. I didn't know hunger until I was basically an adult because I just ate all the time. Literally never felt real hunger. So, take a day off of eating, Carrie. You'll feel hunger real quick. So I guess I see what you're saying now with the symptoms of hunger. But yeah, take a day where you don't eat. Don't eat. Just see how it feels. You'll feel, again, there's mental hunger and there's real hunger. You'll feel the mental hunger faster, the emotional hunger. Oh, I should eat. I'm hungry. But then if you stick with it for a little bit, you'll feel genuine hunger and what it feels like in your body. You'll just start to get the feel of it. And that might be very enlightening for you. Oh, if it fits your macros, right. Marcy says, I lost 40 pounds on IFM, ate a bunch of junk to lose it, ate a bunch of junk to gain it back. Yeah. Yeah. If it fits your macros is, I don't know. Whatever. It's just another symptom of this real superficial diet approach where all people look at is really like the calories, basically. I mean, whatever. It's a slightly more nuanced thing, but I think it's not much better. Again, I think it all comes down to micronutrients. Personally, I think that's the missing piece, and fiber at the top of the list of all of them. But I think fiber and micronutrients are the missing key for most people's weight loss puzzle. Jim says, literally like 35 pounds in 2 years. Yes, I should have never tried to lose weight. I should have never tried to lose weight. It is so crazy like that, because it is like as soon as the dieting thing, I got to get out of here, but I could talk about that all day long. The psychology of a diet mindset, because one of the first things that happens when you start trying to lose weight is if you're a dieter, is you assume it's really hard to lose weight, and you start to think it's really hard for you because you love food. And so that what people don't realize is the diets create a mindset that make you overweight because they start to reinforce all these beliefs about yourself, about how you're an overeater, you love sweets, you can't control yourself, you're just all this negative stuff. So I can't say I'm surprised, Jim. But I mean, where do you start? I mean, how do you fix that? And just do the opposite of what you've been doing, I guess. Stop trying to lose weight, see what happens then. Jonathan Tate, not Mario. No way. These guys are buddies. Carrie says, I eat because I like it. Oh, that's what I want to do. Well, Carrie, I mean, but if that is a true point, I think that if you, I think you never feel hungry because I think you're eating all the time. That's kind of what I'm pulling out of that. But if you're not eating all the time, you're just never hungry, but then you're eating because I like it, then, what that implies to me is that you need to boost your motivation for why you want to lose weight. Do you really want to lose weight? Do you even care? And I ask that genuinely, and then I'd put that up against the pleasure of eating. I think that's a nice place to, it helps you clarify, Carrie says, I want to do a 3-day fast. Yeah, go ahead, Carrie. I thought waiting longer to eat, my body may give me a cue, but maybe not long enough. Yeah, I would go. I mean, I learned a real lot about hunger. Even a day fast is a lot. 2-day fast is a lot. 3-day fast is a real lot. I'm not saying to try to talk you out of it because I think for you, it might be really enlightening. It was very enlightening for me to do fasts. I don't do them anymore. I don't like them. I find them, they're wildly disruptive for me, but I learned a lot. And one of the main things I learned is what real hunger feels like. I'd never felt that, so that might be really helpful for you, Carrie. Magi says, thanks for your input, bud. I guess I just trust the process. Have a good evening, everyone. Yeah, trust the process. The doctors will probably figure that stuff out. Yeah, I do want to lose. I've done 36 hours. I mean, another thing you could do, Carrie, is if you want to do a 3-day fast, knock yourself out, okay? But if you don't want to, I would suggest that you could just take a day. I used to do, so here's a strategy I use. This is a whole program actually I created. It's called oh my God, what was it? The 2-day detox diet. But it was awesome. I should sell that thing. That thing's so good. I just got it collecting dust. But anyways, you want to hear my version of a fast? I'll give you the whole gist of it. How about this? I think it's a profound idea. I forgot all about this idea. But instead of doing a fast where you don't eat any food, you do a fast where you only eat whole natural foods. Isn't that a great idea? Because we'll just see what happens. I think it's a very interesting thing to do. Because if you can get through not eating any food, that's hard. And to get through just eating healthy food is a way easier. And then you'll start to know what hunger feels like as well. So there's another strategy you can try if you want to. Jim says, I'm so thankful for you. Well, thank you. If I stop trying to lose weight, though, I might just binge forever. Well, maybe, but see, that's the beauty of knowing NLP is that we have a saying that if something doesn't work, do something else. So if trying to lose weight has put weight on you, what would happen if you didn't try and lose weight? But for you, Jim, again, I don't know. It comes back to everyone for me. I think that, Carrie says, like today, I had tuna, egg, and avocado mayo. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, let me be clear. I wasn't crystal clear, but I'm talking about like raw foods, like literally all you can eat are raw foods for a day. That's a great detox. And detox is kind of bullshit, by the way, but eat raw foods for a day. See what that does to you. You don't have to just not eat food. So that might be helpful. Julie says, I felt defeated when I started gaining back to 85 pounds I lost by obsessively tracking my food, never at peace with enjoying whole unprocessed foods. No, I just want my energy back, not feeling constant back pain, enjoying delicious vegetables and fruit. Julie, that's wonderful. That's a great, great strategy. And Julie, I know enough about you now too. Like I would add in, it's so funny. I'm hesitating because I see the word just, and that word always trips me up, right? Because someone like, I just want my energy back. I just want to not feel constant back pain, right? Just as it implies like I just want something little, those are big things, and they're big things that you've lost. So it's not like I just want my energy back. I want my fucking energy. I want it back. I really want it back. I don't just want it back. I want all of it back. I want my energy back. I want to get my back to feel more comfortable. I want to enjoy delicious fruits and vegetables. And I know enough about Julie to know I want to thrive in my career. I want to have even more exciting opportunities show up for me. I want to be able to support me and the people I love at an even higher level so that I can thrive and do the adventures and do the things in my life I want to do, provide in the way that I want to provide comfortably, successfully, actively, excitedly. And I'm going to do all of it because I'm going to get control of my weight, my health, my energy. I'm going to eat healthy, natural foods, and I'm going to thrive with it. So again, I'm just riffing here, but you get the idea of what I'm saying. Yeah, Julie, I want my life back. Yes, Julie. That's what I'm talking about. Again, this comes back to the motivation piece. You all suck at motivation. Can I just be honest? You weigh what you want to weigh. You all weigh what you want to weigh. You're when you step on the scale and you see that number, it's a measurement of your motivation. It's a numerical representation of your motivation level. Do you not believe me? Is there anyone here that really believes they want to lose weight more than anything, but they're not? Does anyone believe that? Really? Because I don't believe it. Do you think I'm just able to say this because I'm just a guy? And I don't know, I'm not in menopause? Is that why I'm able to be at the weight I want to be at? Why do you think you're overweight? Why are you struggling? Yeah, Rachel's, I call it my habit-based weight. Of course. What do you think you're... I mean, I know I get more hate comments than any of you do from people saying, it's not me. It's my menopause. It's my insulin. It's my PCOS. It's my Hashimoto's. It's my type 2 diabetes. It's my... Is it? You sure it's not the amount of food you're eating? Are you sure? You sure it's not the calories you're consuming day in and day out? Where does that factor in? Where it says that riff needs to be clipped and put on repeat in my head. It does, right? I say that all the time to people, and I know people that don't kind of settle into the podcast get really pissed when I make it into like a short video. But if you're... I don't know. I find it the most powerless belief you can have is that no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. I know people want to believe that because it's, you know what I mean? Oh, it's not my fault. Oh, you get rid of the responsibility piece of it. But I've never met anyone. I mean, what do you think the weight loss medicines are doing? To the point that I even made one of those videos. I made a video where I said the best part about the weight loss medicines is they prove once and for all that it's a calorie issue. Because what's the weight loss medicine doing? It's not fixing your metabolism. The fuck? What's that? What would that mean? That's what people think. Because they told me, I mean the same thing, Jim, and I'm losing weight. So no, you're wrong. Yeah, no, you're fucking wrong. You have no idea what you're eating. You don't know what you're eating. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have no idea what you're eating. Count calories? Good luck. First of all, the calories on the side of the box, it's like a 20% give or take accuracy level. And then the big problem isn't that. The big problem is you all counting your calories. What do you do when you get in a bad mood? What do you do when you're feeling sad, lonely, depressed, angry, stressed, and now you're eating? And now you're eating 30% more than you normally do, but it doesn't feel like it to you. I don't know, whatever. But you weigh what you want to weigh, and that's that. And of course, you don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be overweight, Jim. I never fucking said you did. I didn't say you want to be overweight. I said you want to keep eating the foods and living the way you're living. You want to keep eating the foods you're eating and living the way you're eating. Your want to do that is up here. Your want to be at your weight is down here if you're overweight. Here's your weight. I want to weigh X amount of pounds. I want to look like I did when I was 18. That want's right here. And then your want to eat the food you're going to eat today and live the way you're going to live is up here. You see the problem? This want's higher. So which one do you think you're going to do? Do you think you're going to do the want that's higher or the want that's lower? Don't get mad at me. Because in reality, this is a much more empowering belief. I think all weight mastery starts by realizing, yeah, I weigh exactly what I want. And I haven't given a shit about my weight. I put it on the back burner. I don't give a fuck. I don't think about it. I don't think about my weight, except for when I feel bad. And then I just eat the foods that I always eat. And I just keep eating them, saying, I'm going to change. I'm going to do it. I want to change. I got to change. I got to change. I got to change this up. But I don't change it up. I keep doing the same thing I'm always doing. Well, now all of a sudden we have a unified theory of weight. That's why you weigh what you weigh. Because you keep eating the amount of calories that keeps you overweight. And you keep doing that because you like to eat those foods and live the way you're living. So you weigh what you want to weigh deep down. Because if I said, I'll give you $1 million if you lose weight this month, could you do it? Yeah, of course you could. Right? So anyways, I find this to be an empowering belief. I'm not trying to be a jerk over here. I'm not over here to make the world feel bad about themselves. I'm trying to point out the clarity of thought that you weigh what you want to weigh, and you don't really want to lose weight, which explains why you're not losing weight. And you don't want to lose weight because your motivation is trash. It really is. The only thing you're thinking is you want to look better. You know? And says, well, the only reason I want to lose weight is I don't look better. I don't give a shit. That's fine if it's working. That's up to you. But if you're not losing weight and the only reason you want to lose weight is because you want to look better, you might want to add some more motivation in there. Like, I don't know. Do you have any connection in your mind between how you eat your whole life and how long you're going to live? Or how you eat your whole life and how your quality of life is going to be? Is there any association between those two things? It would help if there were. What's up, Astrid? I'll see you, Astrid, in a little while if you're on that call. We'll do a call today at 3:00. But I got to get out of here. Start a little late, but shiny new teeth. Dang, that's good. Looking clean. Yeah. So, all right. Well, if you're not in my world, make sure you go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session and listen to it. It's really good. Watch the video I made for you. I think that's really good. It's all free. Go check it out. And listen to the podcast. Podcast is Program Yourself Then. We do one every weekday, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. So if you have any questions, pop on here and ask them. And I'll do what I can to help you out. And what else? Oh, yeah, follow me. If you don't follow me on anything, follow me. Because you never know when my videos might come up and save the day for you. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.